Hello and welcome to episode 2 of VHS Showdown's Halloween Spooktacular!
What the fuck is that?
It's like fucking one of those birds you hear in the background.
Scary birds.
Yeah, man, that's better.
It's more. Unless you haven't realised, it's Halloween.
Again.
So, for all of October, we will be reviewing exclusively horror films. So, last week we reviewed Lee's Choice.
It was Friday the 13th, part 6.
So this week we move on to Alan's Choice. And what 80s Halloween banger did you pick out?
So I went for 1987's The Monster Squad.
Yes. Yeah, man. So why did you go for that one then, Al?
I've only ever seen it like a handful of times.
As a kid or?
Yeah, as a kid. I'm pretty sure the last time I watched it was probably about 30 odd years ago.
Wow.
So early 90s, and I remember it being a classic.
Man, that is classic!
Okay, cool. So that was Alan's knowledge of this film. Tar, what was yours?
Well, I'm the polar opposite on this one, and I watched it for the first time probably in my mid-30s.
Oh, really?
Wow,
Lovely.
that does surprise me.
Honestly, it was real weird
Okay.
that I hadn't seen it, but I was really excited to watch it again.
Lee, what about you? What was your history with this film?
I can't think of any specific times I saw it, but I've seen it like a few times over the years. The last time I watched it was about a year ago. I'm just quite familiar with the film. I haven't seen it a million times, but I've probably seen it about 5 times, something like that.
Yeah, I saw it as a kid on video. And yeah, it was a big fan, and then I've seen it maybe a couple of times throughout my life since. Whenever it's on, I'll be like, oh yeah, I'll watch that.
Very rarely on then.
So let's talk about it then. So Monster Squad, one of the interesting things about the film is it is a massive flop.
How badly it bombed.
Bada boom.
Yeah, so it came out in 87, and 87 was a pretty chocker year for decent movies. I mean, Lost Boys was the other one that came out.
Different audience, I'd imagine, though.
Yes.
You can't say this film was before its time, but like watching it now, it's like fucking wow. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like a fucking great kids film.
Well, it's Goonies with monsters, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it came out 2 years after Goonies,
Yeah.
wasn't it? I think it got a lot of negative reviews, I think, from critics at the time. They were saying it was a bit of a Goonies rip-off and that. But, you know, the 80s theme was kids on BMXs
We've
going
talked
around
about this before, haven't we?
doing
How
shit.
sort of like when Hollywood comes up with a film, like you've made like the ants and bugs comparison, things like that. So like you said, it was probably just a thing of the time. It was like, right, everybody's watching kids' adventures. And, and what can we do? It's, people have been in caves and they've been underground and... all right, okay.
I like the idea of it as well. I'm a big fan of the old classic, like Dracula's.
The Hammer horror.
Yeah, like the classic Universal monsters.
The monsters in this, man, fucking Stan Winston.
Yeah.
So the premise of it, for those who haven't seen it, is basically it's all the old Hammer horror and the old classic Universal horror films like Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolfman, Creature from the Black Lagoon. That all of those creatures are in one film, and there's a bunch of kids in the 80s trying to stop them.
gotta fight 'em.
Basically, that's the premise. But they couldn't get the rights for all of the characters.
Yeah.
Someone like Dracula was in the public domain, I think, so they could do whatever with that. But all the other, they couldn't make them look too much like the Universal horror films.
Yeah.
So that's why, like, Frankenstein in this doesn't have bolts on his neck. He has like bolts on his
I
head.
wondered about that. When I saw
Stapled
it,
head.
that's weird.
Yeah, they had to be like a certain percentage different enough that they wouldn't get sued. So the people who worked on the makeup for it, they were really gutted because they wanted to make him look exactly like the 1930s films.
That's just fucking ridiculous, though, because I didn't look at Frankenstein's monster and go, who's that?
No, I mean, you
totally know who it is.
instantly-
They're just being
of
petty,
course,
like,
yeah,
do you know
of
what I
course.
mean?
And I do think the creature designs of it were pretty cool, actually. I thought Wolfman was pretty
A
cool.
lot of them. I think Wolfman was cool, but his head wasn't very mobile.
Yeah.
Every time he turned his torso...
He's one of the better Wolfmen in cinema.
Yeah,
I
He
think.
is, but I don't think his face is very expressive either.
No.
They based his
It's a
face
cool
on
look.
Stan Winston.
Did they?
Yeah.
So yeah, the Wolfman, it's a good look, but it doesn't look good when it's moving. My favourite one's the fucking Creature from Black Lagoon.
It's
so
good.
class.
Yeah,
cool.
He's class.
I thought that was a static costume, and then like, one of the later scenes, you do see his mouth moving, so it's a really good costume.
I do like The Mummy. I have a bit of a fear of mummies, and I got a feeling that this film might have been one of the films that did it for me as well.
I think it's the best looking mummy in any film. Like,
Don't know the way it
it's
moves,
class.
man. Scary things. So slow, so slow.
So when they put the
Don't
advert
like 'em.
out to try and find the actor to play the mummy, the advert they put out was pretty unpolitically sort of correct. So basically, they said we were looking for a really really skinny actor, someone on the verge of anorexia.
Jesus.
That was how they worded the advert to find a guy like slim enough to sort of play that part. But he's a great looking mummy.
Well, to be fair, you
was-
can't have a fat mummy.
You don't want to tell me mummy.
Oh.
It was the guy who's in X-Men 2, the guy that played the mummy.
Yeah, so the mummy's really good. The Dracula in it is class.
I think Dracula's fucking shit in this.
Do you?
Yeah.
I think he looks.
I think he looks too cheap. And he looks like he's at a kid's party or something.
Yeah, I think he looks okay. He's evil.
He's a badass in
He
this,
is
I think.
evil. He's the evilest out of a lot of them.
Well, yeah,
but he doesn't.
But he's the
he
only one that's
doesn't
not
look
like a
as
beast, isn't he?
Yeah.
So obviously those are the monsters you've got in there, and you've got the kids. But there is that sort of 80s subgenre, isn't there?
Oh, this feels so 80s, this film. I think that's
Yes.
the best bit about it. It's got that 80s. I think it's because there's bits of a school and bits of a police station, and in 80s films they're like
The main sort of
location.
area,
Like
isn't it?
for us living in England, the American schools, American police stations seem so fucking cool and exotic. 'cause
But there's kids on
yeah.
BMXs, isn't there?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you got everything from E.T. to the Goonies, the Explorers, all of these 80s films. You know, there's Flight of the Navigator, where it's all about like a young kid and some supernatural or extraordinary sort of thing. And obviously that's where fucking Stranger Things came in and sort of said, yeah, we'll just do that. So the film was written by Shane Black, and Shane Black had a fucking hell of a year in 1987.
He did.
So in 1987, Shane Black wrote Lethal Weapon. Well, he wrote them years before, but it came out in 1987. He also had Monster Squad that he'd written come out, and he sold a script that year, and it was the highest selling script ever. And it was the script for Last Boy Scout, and he sold it for 1.75 million. And Shane Black, they sort of credit as the guy who really sort of spearheaded script writers selling scripts. Like before then, Hollywood just worked with a script writer, or they go to script writers, hey, well, we want to make a movie about a boy, and then somebody gets someone to write it. He sort of turned the tables with all that.
Yeah, it was Shane Black and Fred Dekkar.
He was in Predator that year as well.
Yeah, he did Predator that year. But I will say that those two have gone on to be responsible for one of possibly the worst movies ever made. which is The Predator.
Oh, The
I've still not
Predator.
seen it, man.
Those two together made RoboCop 3 as well.
Yeah.
Yes, that was the last film
Shane
that...
Black's got a cameo in it.
That was the last film that Frank Dekkar directed.
And that is terrible.
It just seemed like their repertoire was taking pot shots at things, and this one just paid off. But it didn't pay off.
It was 12 million budget, and it took 3.7 million.
Jesus.
But they really screwed it. So there's a couple of things happened with it. The marketing for the film was awful. First of all, they were trying to like piggyback off Ghostbusters, but then obviously Ghostbusters was more of an adult comedy that had sort of developed a massive sort of kid.
But this was a
following.
13, wasn't it? Or 13?
In America, it was a PG-13.
Yeah.
And when they marketed it, they had these weird posters, and they were like wanted posters of the monsters, like individually. And then they had like the one of Dracula wasn't even the guy playing Dracula in the film; it was like another guy dressed as Dracula.
It was supposed to be Liam Neeson playing Dracula.
He got paid
to do a stunt scene that they never filmed.
Yeah. So when they released it, it didn't do very well at the box office, but the audience reactions to it, people were fucking loving it, but it didn't take very much at the box office over 2 weeks, and so they just fucking pulled
They
it.
pulled it after 2 weeks.
And that's why it made fuck all money. But they said it was starting to build like a bit of like everyone's like, actually, this film's fucking class. You should go and see this. So it started, but they pulled it. Then it found its audience when it was released on VHS a few years later. Cool. So that's the background of the film. I guess there's no real sort of major stars in it, is it? It's kind of
There's Tom Noonan, the bloke who plays Frankenstein. Frankenstein's monster, I'm sorry.
For all you cunts out there that are going to start banging on about fucking Frankenstein and Frankenstein's fucking monster, he will be referred to as Frankenstein, not fucking Frankenstein's monster.
Okay.
Fuck you all.
and the other guy will be Frankenstein's doctor.
I'm going to be your representative, Karen.
Fuck off.
I'm
So
watching you, Alan.
Tom Noonan was the guy from Manhunter.
Right. Oh yeah.
And he was Kane in RoboCop 2.
Oh.
Oh shit, was it?
Yeah, and he was in
Kane.
Last Action Hero, like the fucking axe killer.
Ah.
Oh, awesome.
okay. Well, should we get into it then?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it starts off.
The fucking TriStar logo.
Yeah,
with
yeah.
fucking Pegasus.
Yeah.
That's fucking
It's
great.
one of the best ones, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think
Is it?
Columbia's the best one.
Yeah, so it starts off with like the old scroll or whatever you call it going down the screen.
crawl.
A crawl. 100 years before the story begins, it was a time of darkness in Transylvania. A time when Dr. Abraham Van Helsing, terrible name by the way, and a small group of freedom fighters conspired to rid the world of vampires and monsters and to save mankind from the forces of eternal evil. And then at the end they said they blew it.
Oh, it was chuckalicious, that was.
I love that bit.
blew it.
I do remember that bit as a kid. I think when I first saw it, and I thought, wow. That's real subversive.
Fucking shit going on here, right?
Do you know what I mean? I didn't expect them to say something like that.
Couldn't even read it.
Can't even read.
That I did.
So you open up and it's like a classic graveyard, thunder, lightning, very frightening, and all the rest of the noises. What was the sound of that one bird? Ah! Beautiful. And I swear there's even a wolf man in there as well.
Hey, Wolf Hell.
And then you see a castle in the background. And
Castle's cool, isn't it?
it does look pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, it's like Castlevania.
Yeah.
The whole design of everything in this, they nailed it.
So it goes into the castle and you are in a little vault and there's like coffins in there. So bat hanging from the roof, he drops on the floor and it's the Count.
That was quite cool that they had him, I think, being a bat and transforming rather than most Dracula films, he was in the coffin, isn't he? In this, he just sleeps as a bat.
So when he turns into a bat, Where do his clothes go? Do they go into it?
It's part of his cape, innit? It turns into his cape.
No,
It's magic, isn't it?
Magic.
Well, no, there's a really good bit later on in the film when he's in the plane and the guy opens the trapdoor and lets him out. As he shrinks, his cape falls away from him, gets sucked out of the plane.
Oh, it does. Yeah,
It's like Doctor Strange.
But then his trousers become his legs. And
That is quite the magical ability to transform
Do you think his
clothes onto your body.
So he's got magic clothes.
Well, his clothes are his skin, but they change like texture and
Sometimes
colour.
they have fur.
That's why he's so fucking crease free. He's got like a perfect suit all the time.
I'm
Maybe
starting
he's
to
got a
doubt
Kobe trouser
myself
press.
a bit here. There is the one bit at the end of the film where you do see him trapped half between bat form and half thingy, and his cape you can see blends into his wings.
Well, I'm willing to suspend disbelief for his cape.
But
I want to know what's going on with his fucking shirt and trousers.
The bit that Tarby's on about,
Waistcoat.
the bit that Tarby's on about at the beginning, his cape does fall behind him, and then you actually see it in a hedge by the tree house. So I don't know. They're breaking their own canon.
You know,
So
I was like, okay, his clothes become his body.
Does he have to
it's
keep
magic,
going around
innit?
to pick up his clothes?
Magic clothes.
That's what's in all his crates.
But I thought it was quite poignant
cool.
when his body shrank. His cape didn't disappear with him; it fell away, and the cape's the important part, and that's it. His body just become clothes. That's just the way it is.
Cape watch.
Yeah. We cut to a group, the townspeople.
A mob.
Yeah, a mob running up with their classic pitchforks and torches and muskets.
It's good how retro
few
it all is.
muskets.
That. It does remind me of watching those sort of like 70s sort of horror films when I was sort of a kid. That.
Yeah, and they break into Dracula's castle.
They're like lucky they didn't get blown up on that explosion.
Yeah,
I mean,
they
that
just
fucking dynamite
hang around,
was
sticks of dynamite,
was right by them.
launching them in there, blow the doors off the building.
There's a fucking real healthy amount of dynamite in this film.
Yes.
There is
Yeah.
quite a lot
Yeah.
of dynamite. An unnecessary amount of dynamite.
Yeah,
some might
just
say.
way too
Throwing
much.
it around willy-nilly.
You can usually get one bit of dynamite if you're lucky. in a
One
film.
stick per film.
This has got fucking shit though.
And they are confronted by one of his brides.
Eating a stoat.
A stoaty
What?
stoat.
Is that what it was?
What the fuck is she eating a stoat for?
Minky, musky, sly, old stoaty stoat.
So they shoot her.
A steak with a crossbow.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
fucking awesome,
Yeah, they're
like,
packed like they're packed, and they
Good death that was. It was like, oof.
super sharp.
I don't know if I could do it. I don't know if I could shoot a fucking steak through a vampire.
I think that'd be the easiest way for me.
I wouldn't want to put it through by hand.
Yeah, that'd be fucking
worse.
oh.
Because those like vampire brides are always really hot. So imagine there's some real hot bird. That's how they get you, isn't it?
Of course it is.
You've got to get through the titty first as well.
She's like the mermaid of the land.
It would be difficult, wouldn't it? Because they always look real fit and they've got fangs and they're always like,
Yes, that's like fucking page 1 of the vampire thing, isn't it?
Page
It's like,
3.
they lure you in and then they go straight for the neck, you're fucked.
Men are stupid, though, aren't they? You'd be like, oh,
You're being stupid right now.
Maybe she's alright.
Yeah, I could save her.
Maybe I can change her.
She said she loves me. And then Van Helsing steps forward and he sees the amulet making some light and he goes to look at it and then the Virgin comes in and then they...
Was it you?
It was me. And then they start reading some incantation to try and open a portal.
He's really not being helpful.
No.
He's
No.
just, come
No.
on!
Do it!
There's some pretty cool effects going on there.
There are.
It's great,
Yeah,
this
it's
opening
alright.
scene, man. It's
Yeah.
fucking cool.
Yeah, so they open up the portal and everything starts getting blown through the portal. Yeah, and zombies are coming up.
Those
and they're
zombies are
like-
pretty cool.
Yeah, they look alright.
It's a good 80s
Yeah, they
skeleton
look alright, yeah.
effect. that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one that pops out of the coffin. It looked like kind of Tales from the Crypt dish.
Yeah, totally, yeah.
Yeah, and then we fast forward to 100 years later, and we are in the school, in the 80s
Very,
school.
very 80s school.
And we have two of our kids who are sat in the headmaster's office and they're getting told off by the headmaster. Well, they've actually got a monster club, haven't they? And they spend most of
Yeah.
their time just talking about and drawing monsters.
One of the real strengths in this film is the kids, because...
I think the kids are a bit shit in it.
Yeah, I think they're great, man.
That male
Love it.
kid, that
Fucking great.
Sean, is fucking brilliant.
They're like cut-rate Goonies, aren't they? Do you know what I mean?
The thing about this entire film is this is a really short film. It's like fucking 80 minutes. It's so short,
Yeah,
this movie.
Yeah, he was short.
And so they haven't got long to develop each character, but I think they do it really well. I do think the kids are fucking real
I
good.
don't know, because it's like, oh, one who's funny, but he's not that funny, and then it's like he's the leader, but is he? And then there's like this fucking older kid who he's got no business hanging around with these kids.
Well, we'll get to
and then there's
Rudy.
the fucking young lad, and it's like, who the fuck is he? He's just there.
I don't know, I like the kids, and I like the way they talk. I think it was
Yeah.
actually quite realistic, and they were quite
the
harsh
lead,
to
the
each
leader,
other.
Sean, he was brilliant. It's really hard
Watching
to
him.
find a kid who can talk like an adult and make you believe it. And I thought his role was great.
Well, they grew on me during the film. When I first started watching it, it's like,
It's kind
I do like him.
It
I
depends
think-
what you go into it thinking, I suppose, because if you go into it wondering if it's going to be like the Goonies or something like that, you're subconsciously automatically critiquing it against it. Whereas I watched this with a completely blank canvas and I thought they were great. I thought they carried the story really well. That Sean especially did his grown-up thing. Some of his lines were brilliant.
The teacher's quite funny in this
Teacher's
first
good,
scene
yeah.
as well.
What did they call the one teacher as well?
Cat head or something.
Yeah, like meow mix.
I just think that
she had a
they're-
face like a cat.
I think the reason that I didn't get off on a good start with the kids is their acting in that first scene is not good. It kind of put me off them.
Yeah, I don't know. I was in it from the start. I liked it.
So we leave the headmaster's office and then we're introduced to Fat Kid.
But before that, you've got some homophobic slurs galore.
Well,
Yeah.
well,
I mean, when they send you to school, what they tell you about the and the people with cat heads.
There's
Yeah.
a couple of things throughout this film that date it, and
Yeah.
that's one of them. Yeah.
yeah, so Fat Kid outside, he's one of the group, and he gets confronted by two bullies and they steal his Snickers bar.
One of them's the older brother from Wonder Years.
Yeah.
Yes, and they chuck his Snickers bar on the floor and they stamp on
Snickers
it.
in 1987.
Well, that's it. It was exciting seeing Snickers because
It's
it was marathon over here.
Also, why did they keep it as marathon over there for so long?
Who knows?
Like, surely the costing that must have just been like, do you know what I mean? Just call it.
Maybe
the
just
same
because
thing.
we didn't have the word Snickers in our vocabulary that they.
Do you remember the advert for it though? It was a fucking idiot's guide to the word.
Excusez-moi, have you got the Snickers?
No, love. Just the way I walk.
Snickers. All that's changed is the name.
And it was just like a real dumbed down fucking stupid advert. It was
It was
like
about 1990, I think they changed the name on it. or something.
But yeah, seeing it on the film, seeing the Snickers, like, ooh, fucking hell.
we've got American food.
Yeah.
There's a lot of product placement in this, Pepsi and Snickers.
Yeah.
But just back to Fat Kid, he ain't that fat.
He's not,
No.
but he died 10 years later of pneumonia.
Yeah, that's fucking horrible, that is.
Not from being fat.
No, he was 12 in this.
Oh shit, he wouldn't fucking hell. But then, it's a bit harsh, his mates call him Fat Kid.
It's a good introduction to his name because you do find out his name's Horace, but everybody calls him Fat Kid, even his own gang.
Oh, fuck it.
But I mean, in 1987,
It's the
Very-
80s, isn't it? And I mean, and they're dropping the F-bomb.
You say what'd you say?
Anything goes in the 80s. Yeah, so they're bullying Fat Kid. And then the coolest looking
He's too cool for school.
kid pulls up on his, like, rally burner.
it was like a chopper, wasn't it?
It's a chopper, baby.
And, like, he had, like, the classic, like, 50s cool
like a
kids.
fucking
like,
greaser, wasn't he?
Yeah. Little boots or whatever and, like, white socks and his short jeans. And he's got a cigarette in his mouth and he lights his match off his boot. And he's fingerless
That's
gloves.
quite the manoeuvre, that is.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Because if you don't strike it on the first go, you're going to look like a cunt.
You're going to out, wouldn't you?
You don't want to be going back there trying to, like, relight it.
He must have practiced it.
Yeah.
Maybe he's got a little bit of sandpaper. He's stuck to it.
I'd argue that Rudy is the coolest 80s kid.
He's
I'm gonna
pretty
say,
rad.
I'm going to say he's not.
Well, he's not as cool as the Frog Brothers, is he?
He's a bit cooler than. I'd love to see a film with them fucking three in together. That'd be fucking fantastic. He'd be like fronting with them and that, wouldn't it? That'd be fucking great.
He looks good to start with. He makes an impression, but his role diminishes.
Well, I don't know. I liked him more as it went on.
He's the most stereotypical 80s rad kid.
What is he
Yeah.
doing hanging around with this bunch of fucking... Well, how old is Rudy in this, do you reckon?
He's still at school, isn't he?
8, 17,
16.
So what is he doing hanging around with a load of 12-year-olds? I mean, he's not that fucking cool,
Well,
is
he's,
he?
imagine you were the same age as him, he'd just be a twat, wouldn't he? He'd be like, fuck hanging around him.
Other
but he's
16-year-olds
not, though,
back
is he?
then were like probably not looking like 50s greasers, and they were probably just like sick of his shit. And the only people he could impress were the kids,
12-year-olds,
12-year-olds.
Guaranteed, Rudy's dad
Beats him. Yeah.
Rudy's dad works down the fucking docks or something, and when he comes home after our day, he's pissed. And he's
His mum's a
fucking-
prostitute.
This is quite the
Yeah.
speculation.
Give him a bit of backstory.
It's speculated backstory.
His dad gave him some
Unsubstantiated.
fucking backstory.
Fucking hell.
So Rudy comes up, saves Fat Kid from being bullied, and then makes the bully eat the Snickers that was on the floor. And then we cut to the original two guys. They were walking back home. They're talking about Wolfman
Discussing the Wolfman when he wears pants and stuff.
Wolf
They actually-
dork.
Yeah, they call it a wolf dork.
and discussing if Wolfman could have a job and all this sort of stuff, which I thought was actually quite good, because I suppose if you are Wolfman, you couldn't work nights.
No.
So you'd have to have a 9 to 5. And if you were Wolfman, would an office job suit you? I don't know if it would. You'd want to work with animals.
It depends if your other senses are as enhanced as they make out in other
True,
films.
true,
Isn't it?
yeah, I suppose. You'd be good as like a baker or something, because your sense of smell would be amazing.
It would only be worth being a werewolf if you did have increased senses when you weren't being a werewolf, wouldn't it? Like you could smell a bit better and you could hear a bit better. And
Smell danger.
Smell dick.
Ooh. And as they're walking home, they walk past this old house, and we learn it is scary German dude's house. And we're introduced actually to the one guy's little sister as well.
yeah, she's fucking really cute, that little girl.
She's
man.
annoying, man. She's annoying. Her voice really annoys the shit out of me.
I thought she had a really cute American voice in it.
The little girl says, oh, he's looking at us through the windows.
Scary old German guy. Then they leg it, and then we cut to two guys in the airplane.
The pilot
Pilot.
from UHF. Yeah.
And the fucking villain from Vice
Vice
Versa.
Versa.
much so, yeah.
Yeah. That little interaction there was really, really funny.
I'm depressed.
What for?
I'm flying a World War II bomber with wooden crates in it and dead bodies. I should have a party.
They don't ring the bell. They don't ask for like peanuts or something.
Yeah, so you're right.
This is a great job. I'm really happy.
It's like they just improvised that before. It was really funny.
Yeah, they are flying some old sort of like bomber.
It looks so cheap from the side.
Oh yeah.
It's quite obviously a model. It's not even a good model.
Yeah. And they hear a noise in the back, so the one of them gets up to investigate and heads out into the cargo hold.
This was a way longer sequence that they cut down. Apparently, it's a bit more sort of slapstick comedy, and it was more of a comedic scene that went on for a little while.
Guys, you want to have a party? Look, I just flew in from New York. It's a great town, a really crazy town.
And we see this big long crate on the floor, and it says Frankenstein, Bavaria. And there's Count Dracula. He appears on top of the box, and he punches like the pilot, doesn't he?
He sparks
and the pilot goes fucking flying into all the crates, and the pilot's like, fuck. So he then pulls his lever, which opens up
That's fucking ballsy.
the bay doors, and it drops out the Frankenstein crate with Dracula stood on top of it, but Dracula doesn't fall.
He's floating.
His cape goes.
That's quite a cool effect.
Yeah,
It's a good little scene, that.
Transforms into a bat and fucking.
The transformation's cool.
Yeah,
It's like the
yeah.
red eyes and then it's good. Yeah.
And then he flies off, and then we see the crate fall into a swamp, which is great.
And then the little bat hangs up by it, doesn't it? And you see his little face.
Yeah. I wondered whether it was worried that whatever was in the crate was drowning, or whether it was just celebrating being on that branch.
He's having a little snooze, I think, wasn't he?
No, when he was like doing his little. It was like, was he happy or was he like, oh,
Yeah, his plans come together, wasn't it?
Drop him in the swamp.
But if he dropped on land, he would have exploded into like a million pieces, wouldn't he? He's probably aiming for that fucking swamp, which, well, he wasn't, because the other guy pulled the lever. Just incredible.
Maybe he was just about to pull it himself.
Well,
Was he in sunlight?
No.
Was it night time?
Yeah.
maybe. There was a lot of light came from underneath when it opened up.
Anyway.
So we cut to the Monster Squad like clubhouse.
It's so cool, that
Tree
treehouse.
house.
That
Yeah,
treehouse
it's
is
fucking
fucking cool.
brilliant treehouse,
Cool
man,
treehouse.
yeah.
They've got the cool kids there actually, because after the cool kids say fat kid, they all sort of wanted cool kids to join the club.
But he's got to answer some.
Yeah, they're talking
questions.
to him about how do you kill like Dracula and how do you kill werewolves and all this sort of stuff.
And he's looking at his sister's tits through the window.
Yeah,
He's a
got
peeping Tom.
Yeah.
Yes.
The kid from Big.
Peeping Tom's
The
cool
kid
in
from-
it, so.
I tell you what, though,
Yes.
Thingy's mum.
Oh, she's a mum.
Yeah.
and
She
everything.
is in
Yeah.
fucking loads.
She is. She's
Yeah,
a fucking
yeah.
mum in the Gooners as well, isn't she? That's it's another
She
fucking.
is, yes.
Yeah.
And
Lethal Weapon.
she's the
All of the Lethal
psychologist in
Weapons.
Lethal Weapon, yeah.
Ghostbusters 2, Scrooged.
Die Hard.
She's in Back to the Future too. She is one of the future police officers.
Is she? I didn't know that.
I've got a real thing for them as well for some reason. I don't know. You know the two police officers, the two women
Oh,
ones,
she's
and
the
those
one that.
fucking outfits.
Yeah.
So they're talking about how to kill Dracula, and then the lad has to go inside because his mum calls him and his sister to come and have some tea. So he goes into the house, and the mum has bought him the book, and the book turns out to be fucking Van Helsing's diary. Of all things that this lad could end up with, all written in German, so he's got no idea how he's going to read
Yeah, he's
it.
mega excited about it, isn't he?
Well, we cut to Dracula after that, don't we? And he's stood above the whole town, and he's like, "Oh, let the fun begin," or something.
Let it begin.
Well, yeah,
Scary
just
skull.
Dracula's got a fucking hell of a car as well.
What the fuck?
Where did he get that fucking
That
car?
car's fast.
He turned up, and it's like a fucking giant.
He's not rented
It
that.
looks like a fucking private ambulance hearse or something.
Yeah.
He's had some work done on that, and also he can make it like it phases out of existence.
Yeah, where the fuck's his car from?
Has he got the ability then to create whatever he wants?
What, to manifest
Because
fucking
if we're talking about his
working
clothes
vehicles?
earlier,
Maybe.
and now his car.
He's fucking powerful then, isn't he? If he can do that. I mean, the only other option is that when he was in Transylvania before he flew, he must
got a
have
mechanic out.
he must have called somebody out there and be like, "I want you to make a car, get me out of Black Horse, and I
Well,
want you to put the skull on the
he probably
front."
did, didn't he?
Yeah, imagine him organising that.
Well, I mean, he's been alive for a long
garage.
time. I mean, he's pretty well versed.
I mean, are we not sure that he's just the kind of guy that makes things happen with his mind?
Did he manifest that car?
Or
He's a ghost car.
transform an existing car
His
into...
power levels are off the fucking chart.
You're off the fucking chain!
Do you ever
Yeah.
think he has like downtime where he just sort of goes out in like a jumper and like fucking some
Crazy
jogging
golf.
pants or shit? Because if he had to get that car, he's got to go to the garage and like talk
Well, he's
to.
not. I mean, he's not like evil all the
said
time.
it
blue
was
collar
ready last
workers,
week.
like,
It's
that's
a bit of a
obviously-
shit car, but I like that about
It's
it.
a bit of a giveaway.
I like the old American.
If you were like, we've got to find Dracula, where is he? Oh, that's got to be him.
He may as well have had Dracula wrote on the side of it.
He's not
And
going to drive
can't
around in a
fly.
fucking Ford Sierra, is he? He's going to...
That's it. He can fly. And
He can fly,
He's
of
got
course.
no need for this car.
I think that would
He
have
can
been better.
fucking levitate off the ground.
If he was driving around in like a fucking Fiat Uno or something like, or like a Mini Cooper, it'd be fucking
With a
brilliant.
skull on the front.
Yeah. So we go back, and the mum and dad were getting ready to go to a marriage counsellor, but
It's a good family interactions.
Yeah.
It's a realistic
Yeah, it's a
80s
good- yeah,
family.
it's a
Proper
good-
80s
He's
family.
He's got a
yeah.
great relationship with his son.
Yeah.
yeah.
A very kind of respectful relationship.
He's a good dad. He's got a tough job to do, but he's a good dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, we find out the dad's a police officer, and we get a phone call from his police officer mate who says that there's a man here who's claiming to be a fucking werewolf, and they need to go out and check on another case anyway.
He's fucking brilliant.
He's great,
He's
yeah,
so good.
Yeah, so he heads to the station and he meets his partner, and they
The Wolfman's kicking off.
Do you know who Wolfman is?
I did recognise him from some stuff. No.
Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite.
Fucking hell. Hell.
Yeah.
Back in '82, I used to be able to throw a pigskin a quarter mile.
That's fast.
That's a fucking great film. I haven't seen that for so long.
How much you want to make a bet I can throw a football over them mountains?
The Wolfman fucking, he grabs the gun, he shoots it in the air, and he's like...
He's demanding that they get him into a cell, aren't they? They're like, lock me up, and then he sees the full moon. Which is weird, because I think later on he changes without seeing the full moon. So I'm not sure how that works. So he starts transforming into
It's
the
a nice
Wolfman.
wet sound when he's transforming.
And he starts kicking off, throwing policemen around everywhere.
He's launching them.
But he doesn't fully change.
No, he just
No,
gets
no,
like
no,
strong.
no.
Yeah, and so a cop shoots him like 3 times
It's
in
like
the chest.
it's
Yeah.
a good punch in with each shot.
And that's him dead, presumably. So the dad and the partner go to the museum.
They got some good bands. So
Yeah. They're investigating a case of a 2,000-year-old mummy that seems to have disappeared.
Now I want to know. I mean, obviously Dracula's building this little army or whatever. What is his connection to this fucking mummy?
Well, so every 100 years,
The forces of good and evil are equal,
So
and there's
that
a chance
means
to
that
vanquish the one.
everything has to wake up every 100 years. Or is
Every 100
Dracula
years,
waking them
every
all up?
100 years, for a certain amount of time, the amulet can be used to make
Yeah.
either good or evil take over. So what good have got to do is protect the amulet.
So
until
all
the
these-
minute
yeah.
past 12.
All these things are happening to wake up, and they do every 100 years.
Yeah.
Or
No,
is
no.
Dracula the first one to wake up and then he wakes the rest?
Dracula's amassing
pulling
an
the
army.
strings, like-
He's getting like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So-
So they can help him.
So has
Get
So
the
what is it?
amulet.
Has he heard about this fucking mummy at some point and be like, I can wake that up?
Probably, yeah.
Because I mean, like,
Well, do we know
out
who
of
the
all of
mummy
them,
is?
well, I'd like to fight the mummy the most, I think, because he's fucking shit.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
he looks
you would-
terrifying.
I mean,
You could
look
outrun it.
terrifying. It's like you get more use out of an actual man than that mummy.
Just
You know
set
what I
him
mean?
on fire.
If you were to remake the film now, you would have a
Set him on
scene of
fire.
that mummy using his fucking sound powers to
Yeah,
like,
he'd have some
go
more
through the fucking
telekinesis or
police
some
station
shit.
or something, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would have been better if, like, instead of like the werewolf getting in the van in a bit or whatever, you actually have the mummy comes and breaks the werewolf out using
Yeah.
his sound
Yeah.
powers. So that
Yeah,
would be-
it's not the most formidable foe, this mummy.
No, what I do like,
Do you know what I
though,
mean?
It doesn't do a great deal.
one of the things I like
It's got
about
a
this
scare
film,
factor.
It's got a scare factor.
this film don't give a shit. It's like, fuck it, here's the mummy.
Here's the mummy.
Here's the werewolf. Here's the fucking creature from the fucking blue.
And that's the
Lagoon.
other thing with the
Let's go.
creature from the Black Lagoon. It's like, what's he doing? It just happened to land in his swamp, or is he
Yeah.
Dracula's mate, or do you know what I
Fuck it.
mean?
don't-
And he
doesn't
can
care, this
go
film.
on land as well, which is interesting.
A great achievement.
Yeah.
I never
He's
questioned this as a
evolving
kid,
every
though.
100 years. In next 100 years, he'll have a top hat and cane. He'll be like working in fucking Wall Street or something.
But is it that the 100 years has passed, so this normal guy has suddenly become a werewolf, or is this guy who's
Family
a werewolf?
bloodline.
Is he 100 years old or something? Oh, family
Family
bloodline. That'd be
bloodline,
cool.
I
Yeah,
reckon.
I go for that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
While we're on this subject, though, Frankenstein. Is he just his mate? Do you know what I mean? It'd be like.
Master.
I mean,
He directly obeys an order straight away.
He's
like,
known
you
him
have to
for
do-
ages, isn't he?
He,
Yeah.
he would also be better off getting just like a really strong bloke who's not quite so thick. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get like an American football player and pay him loads of money, and instead of like going to great lengths to get this fucking. All of the monsters are bumbling. They're slow.
Yeah.
And you know, obviously it's a kid's film.
Wolfman.
Wolfman, there's a bit where there's kids out and then just them behind him, he's like, oh, whoa. Do you know what I mean? He's not very wolf-like, is he? He's he's quite clearly a man in a
I
suit.
think Wolfman's got speed and strength. Frankenstein's got strength, no speed, and he's an idiot. Gilman is, I don't know. I mean, is
He doesn't
strong?
do a lot, does he?
He's strong because he picks fucking Frankenstein up
True.
and launches
You
him.
couldn't grab him though.
He's
too slippery.
amphibious, isn't he? He's for when Dracula needs some shit involving water. Like there's a crate floating in a lake.
Oh, right.
And so that
yeah.
scenario is perfect.
Or they're by the sewer.
And
Or do you
you've got
think-
a flying one with Dracula.
And the mummy's, just brings a bit of fucking, I don't know, Egyptian charm to the whole proceedings. Like,
It's just ticking boxes of like horror fucking characters that kids would have known at the time, and like you said, it's a kids' film. And I think it's fucking executed brilliantly. Watching it as an adult.
yeah, I think Dracula just was like, well, there's a museum in town and they've got a mummy there, so I'm going to get that as well to join my gang.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
that's
everybody
what
knows
he's
of a
like.
mummy. The curses they put, that was in comics, and Yeah, fucking, they're all characters they would know, wasn't it?
The mummy does just kind of wander off.
Yeah, so the mummy's disappeared, and obviously the two cops are just like, yeah, what the fuck.
That's a great little cut,
swamp.
that bit, though, isn't it?
2,000-year-old dead guys do not get up and walk away by themselves.
And then it cuts to, like, you see them.
Yeah, it's him stumbling off.
Yeah.
And then we cut back to the van that's taking the dead wolf man to the morgue.
He was just a man at that point.
He was just a dead man.
He
was a dead man with blood seeping through his gown.
This is a pretty good scene
gown.
that would have been good in any fucking horror film. Do you know what I mean? Occasionally when it is scary, this film, it is actually scary.
Yeah, there are bits that are scary.
Because I've wanted to show this to my kids for ages, and I tried to show them it at Halloween. I got about 2 minutes in to bit when the skeleton pops out the grave. And then watching it, I think they've got to be more like 7 or something before I can show them this one, or 8 really, because some bits of it are really fucking dark.
That's the good balance. That's what I like about it, I think. Is that
it's great.
It's a great kids' film, but like when it wants to be, it does really get to like, ooh, fucking hell.
Yeah, so it's obviously a full moon as they're driving back to the morgue, and he then turns into the wolf man and takes out the driver of the van.
Well,
great
they
little
had
scene.
it coming.
You would get fucked up by a wolf man, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Absolutely
shit.
fucked up.
That was when I was young. That was what I was scared of because of American Werewolf in London.
Yeah. The tears on the fucking face and when his mate
I
fucking
think
gets
I
done.
watched it when I was like 4.
Yeah, it's
and it
fucking
really
terrible.
fucking,
Terrible.
Well, it's like Jaws, isn't it? It's that whole idea of being eaten. It's just fucking horrendous.
Still the greatest werewolf film, American Werewolf in London. I actually watched some the other day where they described that as a comedy.
Yeah,
And I was like, the first time I thought about it, I was like, actually, I can probably see that. But I suppose at the time when I first ever watched it, it was so young.
Yeah, fuck
Yeah,
that.
it was
I didn't see the
terrifying.
comedy in
Well,
it.
maybe that one will crop up.
And then we cut to the swamp. The Wolfman, the Mummy, they've sort of met each other, not said anything. Dracula's there. And then they go over to the edge of the little lakey, swampy bit, and like Dracula's like using some special power, and the water starts bubbling. And then all of a sudden, fucking Gilman comes out carrying the box of Frankenstein.
The box of Frankenstein.
Yeah, and like lobs him onto the side. They open up the box, and Frankenstein's there. And then Dracula uses his cane to,
He's got some fucking cables
like,
come out of his cane.
probes, electric
This is hard. There's only one very specific use for that.
Yeah.
I imagine that's what he made this for, isn't it?
He's got like, this elaborate cane.
The mechanic who did his car did that for him as
He's
well.
been walking around with
a
this.
cane.
How long has he had this cane? He could have put all that shit in a fucking little bag in his pocket.
It's like jump leads, isn't it?
But he must have had it recently, because surely that technology hasn't been around for as long as Dracula's been around. So
Well,
at one point he's going to have to have made that.
Yeah.
Every
You
100
get it
years.
made the same time he's got his car made.
Do you think the
He's
next
been planning
100 years
this, isn't
he'll have like a fucking defibrillator?
He'll have
or
a
whatever?
UFO.
USB.
So he plugs these little probes into the side of Frankenstein. Thunder, lightning, hits the cane, wakes up Frankenstein,
I was
and
very
he's
disappointed in that there was no electric or anything, no buzzing. He did nothing.
oh, you had a little bit of the down to him.
Yeah, but nothing happened to his
nothing.
face. He didn't move, he didn't twitch. Like, even Red Dwarf managed to make it look like electricity was going over somebody's head. It was like not undoable. I just thought, oh, nothing's happening. And then he woke up. I was like, oh, was that it? Poor.
I didn't mind this bit.
And then they stand on the side of the lake, and they're like, they look really fucking weird. They're like doing like, like it's really like
They're reveling.
It's really excited.
It's a wild rumpus.
Well, I was watching this, and it's like none of the actors playing those characters knew what to do. The director didn't know what to do because none of them can talk. So they're not really even like intelligent to know what's going on.
Yeah.
So
I tell
they
you
all
what,
just
I tell you
stand
what.
there writhing for
Yeah,
a
it's
bit. It's
odd.
just really
It's
odd.
It's like they're a pull screen, or like when you don't move a character on a computer.
They're
you
exactly,
do like
they're
the
exactly
fucking.
like the fucking bad guys in Power Rangers. They did it the same way. They said, right, just jiggle around. You're happy, do something. Because like, that's what I was waiting to say about this Aquaman. Well, he particularly is like, you can forgive the mummy because it can only be like, but the Aquaman was like sort of just like, just putting his arm up in the air, but then just moving down. It was like very awkward, and that's what made him look like the Power Rangers bad guys.
I think you should take that bit and edit out the soundtrack and just have it like silent and what it would actually be.
And then we cut back to the house. There's a message for him on the board that says that someone's rang and inquired about the Van Helsing diary.
Yeah.
It's an anagram of.
It's Mr. Alucard.
I mean, he's not
Yeah,
even
Alucard.
fucking. He's not even trying to disguise himself now, is he? You know what I
He could
mean?
have picked any name.
Yeah.
He could have picked any name and he's written his name
Yeah.
backwards.
And obviously the lad works out that.
He's
it's
trying to intimidate
Dracula.
him.
How did you know he had the book, and how did you get his phone number?
He's very mystical, isn't he?
Well, I mean, I'm willing to forgive his mysticism
In
to
the
an
80s,
extent.
though, Al, in the 80s, they had phone books hanging in every phone
But
box.
how did you know that lad had bought it?
Well, one of the strengths of this film is it's a real tight script. It goes from fucking beat to beat to beat to beat to beat like that, and it don't have chance when you're watching it to ask these questions. 'Cause when you ask him, it is like, well, yeah, how the fuck did he? But you don't care when you watch it because I think it really suspends your disbelief well. I think.
I reckon he went to the place where the book originally was, got the bloke who fucking sold it tortured him and then got the phone number out of him and then rang him from his house and then killed him.
But
They should have showed that.
Yeah.
And then we cut to a young lad who's having trouble sleeping in his house.
He's the youngest one of the Monster Squad.
Yes.
The one that's just there.
He's the one with the dog, isn't he? I think?
Yeah, he's like their neighbour or something.
I mean, that's just a little rascal still, isn't it, surely?
Yeah. And he goes into his dad's room and he's like, oh, there's a monster in my closet and all that sort of stuff. So the dad comes into the bedroom.
Probably second most American dad.
And he is like, oh, monsters, get out, monsters. You know, doing a good job as a dad does to get the monsters out of your kid's bedroom. And the dad's just like, oh, have all the monsters gone? And then the kid is like, no, there's still one in the closet. And the dad opens the closet, doesn't look in there, he's got his back to it, and he's like, oh no, scary monster, and the kid's not looking.
That seems fucking hilarious though when he opens that door and the fucking mummy's just there because...
The mummy's in there.
It's kind of like, it's got nowhere to go.
Right.
It's too fucking old and sad to
What is that mummy doing in there?
How the fuck? What? How did it get in there? And why is it in there?
Why did it move quickly, but it got out the window in about 2 seconds?
It got in the fucking window and went into his closet.
Well, do you know
and
what?
stood there for the kid to then be like, well, I don't.
He must have seen it going
Don't
in.
understand.
I reckon he was looking for something like his sarcophagus, something to get back into, and a closet would have been the closest thing.
Not a chance.
I reckon
No
that's
chance.
a bit of a stretch, though.
And it's the only explanation.
I reckon, because that young lad's in the Monster Squad, yeah? I reckon he was going in there looking for this book, but because he's so shit and vulnerable, when the adult came, he's like, fuck, I got fucking high because I'm such an easy mark for an actual man to fight. I mean, kids couldn't fight him, but a man fucking knocked the shit out of him.
Yeah, you might be right.
So he was looking for the book, and then he hid in the closet.
That's better.
I'm rewriting this film on the fly.
Let's go with that.
Yeah.
Listen up, Shane Black. Shane Hack.
Shane Cack.
Shane Cunt.
Fucking hell. Nice Guys is good.
Yes, Nice Guys is fucking good.
Fucking Russell Crowe.
Yes.
Yeah, that's class.
That is good.
Yeah, it's good.
Iron Man 3's alright as well.
Iron Man 3 is quite good, yeah. But The Predator is so bad. You need to watch it.
It's the worst film I think I've ever seen.
It is.
Really?
It's,
that bad?
it's embarrassing.
Maybe we should watch it.
Maybe, yeah.
I don't want to watch that again.
So after the mummy scene, which is a great little scene.
So the mummy, after walking into the bedroom and getting into the closet, then gets out the closet and walks out the window and goes. And then we cut back to the Monster Squad's house, and the lad who obviously decoded, I say decoded because it was hardly like the fucking code breakers from World War II, who figured out that Dracula, is around. He's talking to his mates about how there's probably real monsters around. And
after the one section, he goes up onto his roof and he's watching the movie that he wanted his dad to take him to.
Yeah.
What a fucking cool bedroom,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Like, imagine you could see that fucking thing. You would never need to go to this. I don't want to pay to go to this movie. You'd be like, no, fuck off, son. We'll just go and sit out your
even had
window.
the audio, didn't they?
Yeah, always with the radio.
I think with drive-in theatres,
They broadcast it, so you have to listen to it
so
on
you
the
listen
radio in
to
your
it
car.
radio. I think.
That's a cool idea.
I think.
Yeah.
Because they were quite close to it as well, you can pick it
I
up.
remember as a kid just thinking that would be the fucking amazing, the most amazing thing you could have, like a cinema behind your house so you could see from your fucking rooftop, and your dad would bring you a fucking burger.
Yeah.
There's a couple of films like where kids go out on the roof and they just sort of sat, and it was always like, oh, I wish I had a fucking roof like that. And then my dad and my stepmom got a house, and there was like this slanted roof, and I used to climb out the bathroom window and lie on it and pretend I was in this like American sort of like fucking looking up at the sky until the tile started coming off. And my dad was like, what the fuck is going on with that roof? Get off the fucking roof! Because I was climbing out the bathroom window. Someday.
How old were you?
15, 16.
Like, get your fucking 18 toys and get off the fucking roof.
Oh, fucking look. Jealousy is biting hard.
You find a BA up there, like. So we cut then to Dracula in his Civil War looking house thing. They go down into the basement and Frankenstein's like chained up in their little jail which they have in this house, and Dracula says that he's going to go take a nap and you need to go and find the book for me. So Frankenstein's like, it's master.
I mean, again, you wouldn't trust him to do anything, really, would you?
But he's pretty graphic though. He says, like, if they resist, kill them.
Oh, he doesn't give a fuck. He's the Prince of Darkness.
Then Frank just decides to fuck off and do completely the opposite.
We go to the kids. They take the diary over to scary German dudes and they ask the German guy to translate all the German.
You are running out of time.
It's your last chance for pie.
Was it going to expire, do you reckon?
It's going to explode like fucking Mission Impossible. And obviously Fat Kid has some. He has some more. And then they like translate. And
It's quite nice at the end of that scene with the German guy.
Oh,
where you
yes.
see the numbers on his arms.
I was like, oh, fucking hell, that's quite unnecessarily serious in this kid's film.
Yeah, but
It's
that was
like,
quite
it was
good.
it was good, but it was out of place for this
weird.
film.
It was. I remember asking my mum and my dad what that meant. Like when I was a kid, when we were watching, it was the first time we got told about like what happened and that and stuff. So I think it's quite good they put in kids' films.
Yeah.
You sure know a lot about monsters.
Now that you mention it, I suppose I do.
I think they did that as well because I bet everyone at home thinks he's next fucking Nazi.
That's six on the run. Before you see it, that's what you think.
Quite a poignant moment, really, then, isn't it? Because like you spend ages thinking that he's some sort of villain, and then turns out he's a victim. Like,
yeah, true. But I mean, when it's going in with like Wolfman and Mummy and like, I mean,
let's chuck a fucking Nazi in.
Yeah, let's chuck a fucking concentration camp victim in. Like, anyway, the kids come back. And Frankenstein's there, and they shit their pants.
It's funny that as it cuts back to them, they're already running. It doesn't cut to them run off. Like, it's a good cut.
And then obviously they sort of like figure out that he's friendly because the little girl holds Frankenstein's hand, or finger, I should say, which would be terrifying because it would be so cold. They take him up into the treehouse.
He takes some snaps of Thingy's sister.
Yeah,
he does. How does Dog get up here anyway?
That's such a cutaway as well.
Yeah. It's good because I reckon someone asked that in the studio.
Yeah, and that's cool.
Someone saying.
And that's a cool shot when they're all putting their hands there. And I remember as a kid, the dog's paw going on. It's real like,
They show Frankenstein the mask, don't they? The little Frankenstein play mask.
Yeah, it's quite a sad moment.
It is quite sad, isn't it?
Because when he's questioning, he realises it's him, and he's
Am I the bad guy?
Yeah, do I look like this?
You fucking are, you ugly cunt.
Oh, come on.
So we cut back, and this is where Dracula finds the amulet. He's like bashed a hole through there.
He fucking smashes a hole in the wall with like a tiny hammer. It's not even a sledgehammer.
I love that bit. So he walks down the fucking steps, and he's got Wolfman carrying the hammer. Yeah, like Wolfman's just he's like carrying a spade. He's a fucking Wolfman.
How the fuck is that room full of fresh garlic?
Is that what's in there?
There's a load of crosses, a load of fucking boxes of fresh garlic.
That garlic would be fucked.
It was 100 years ago.
Yeah, that's seriously fucking dry.
He managed to track it down, didn't he? He could like sense it, and he's like, it's here, and like they bang through the walls.
Wolfman's got a torch in one hand and a hammer in the other, and he's just fucking.
He's just a shelf.
He's just like he's not really a Wolfman anymore. How much instructions can he take? Do you know what I mean? Is Dracula in full control of him? Is that why he's just helping out around the house?
Would you fucking make him bash you off?
No, but I just want to know how he communicates with a Wolfman. Like.
It'd be nice.
Do you reckon?
If it was like a dog's paw.
What? You like to be jerked off by a dog's paw?
And what I mean is, the bottom of a dog's paw is like really soft, isn't it?
Do you think a werewolf's hand would be like a dog's hand? Do you think it would have?
It'd be rough.
The pads.
Do you reckon a werewolf's dick would be like the Red Rocket? It'd be like a
definitely.
Like a lipstick, a big
or
old
a man dick,
big salty rhubarb.
Well, he's definitely got nards, isn't he?
Wolfman's got nards.
So yeah, no, I think a werewolf's dick would be like
a red
a big
one,
dog's
but with
dick.
a bell end, a human bell end.
Well, it just like sort of comes out like a mushroom.
Yeah, so it's like a proper like man.
But if it gets to like a dog's dick, like a point at the end.
Yeah, they're like real bulbous, like.
That would just look fucking weird.
Like literally dangling because it can't support its own weight because it's so heavy compared to the little dick.
I do think that's. I don't know about that, but I think
don't you?
No, I think it would be pointed. I think it'd be furry sharp.
Do you reckon during like fighting scenes and stuff, it'd be out like sometimes the dogs is like, unnecessary times. Like at the end, they're like fighting Dracula and his dick's out. It's like fucking Wolfman's dick's out.
Actually, it's funny that I've never seen a werewolf film where you see the werewolf like like a dog does sometimes. Well, like trying to bang something like a dog does. It wraps his sort of legs around it. It'd be quite a good idea for it. Yeah.
I'll be a werewolf.
I'm sure there's got to be some sort of pornos out there, and they with the werewolf with the dick.
I imagine.
But yeah, hairy sharp.
Yeah, and then we cut to like the most classic of 80s fucking school montages.
Yes.
Rock until you drop. Dance until your feet fall.
Rock until you drop.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Rock until your feet fall off.
I've added that to my Spotify today.
No, nice.
Who is it?
It's actually fucking Michael Sambello.
She's a maniac on the floor.
He's a maniac.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah.
This is one of the best 80s montages.
It's good montage, mate.
It's fucking class, man. It's like
This is why the film's 80 minutes.
It's feel good.
They get so much done in this. It's like, right.
Classic funky 80s song.
Yeah.
With cool kids going around his classes. He's got like a woodwork class, metalwork class, fucking archery or whatever, all in the same day.
Can I just bring in the I'm not having that segment?
Oh.
Come on, man, he's making silver bullets in workshop.
Yeah.
And I thought he was making tips that go on regular bullets, but it turns out that he's made actual bullets.
If you watch it as well, he's got it so hot because he puts the spoons in and they instantly liquefy.
Instantly.
Yeah.
And he pours it into it turns into bullets straight away.
I thought I'd missed something there. I'm glad you said that because I was literally like, okay, oh, right, he must have had some in there already.
He's fucking making wooden stakes.
Yeah.
And then he goes, next class,
How's he making firearms? How's he making fucking bullets?
I do like the bit actually where they cut back to the mum in the house.
Oh,
and
he
she
doesn't
opens
make a firearm, does
She opens up
Not a firearm, but you know.
her silver cutlery case, and there's no fucking
it's been
silver.
raided.
Yeah,
that
it's
was
cool, it's cool. And then he goes and steals a crossbow, doesn't he, from the archery group?
You've got shots of some hijinks with Frankenstein in the meantime.
Yeah, he's just sort of
Shenanigans.
walking down the street. And,
Come on, guys, making flyers, like
Yes.
making fucking business cards and shit.
That one guy, the funny one, he's like a young Bill Murray, he reminds me of.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
He went on to do a fair bit. If you
Did
look
he?
him up, he's done a fucking lot of like TV shows. But,
Rudy was really carrying that montage when you think back
He
to
was.
it.
He carries a lot of the film.
One in it, wasn't he?
Yeah, the one guy's making flyers. Oh, Eugene's writing a letter to the
Oh,
army.
to the army.
That's
And then the
that's-
dog-
I mean, they would not reply to that.
that is the most
Yeah,
farcical
well,
one.
we'll get to that.
It's
won't
not
we?
getting there, is
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
It ain't getting there.
Okay, so we have a fucking brilliant montage.
Brilliant
Top
montage.
5 80s montages.
Cut back to Dracula's Civil War house, and he's got Wolfman tied up, but Wolfman isn't Wolfman, he's just man.
He's mad.
Oh, he's drugged him.
He's drugged it.
What do you reckon he give him ketamine or something?
And Dracula's like, right, I'm just going to go feed. And he goes off and he goes to
He
get
goes,
three
he goes in a
brides.
real tiny cupboard
Yeah.
with these three.
He's got a whole
women.
house.
He has. He's going to
women.
squeeze into the airing cupboard.
You don't actually see him bite anyone.
No,
He's
The
got
entire
three. He's
film.
got 3 girls in there, hasn't he?
Yeah,
Just
man.
to clarify.
3 schoolgirls.
And he's going to turn them into his brides.
There has to be a reason why they didn't show Dracula bite anyone's neck, and it's got to be a fucking ratings censor thing in it. I bet they were told like that. That's a straight 18 or something, isn't it, I guess.
And just as he goes off to suckle on some young teenage neck, Wolfman, or man, spits out the drugs that Dracula gave him.
Drugs?
And he sort of unties himself.
He's
and
tricksy.
Gets out. He legs it from the Civil War house. And he goes to a phone box and then he rings the police station. He's like, 666 Shadowbrook Road.
Fucking 666. I'm not fucking having that.
He's like, you gotta come here, He's gotta kill your son or something. And as he's on the phone, he turns into fucking werewolf man.
Spits a load of jizz.
Yeah,
That's horrible, that bit, man. When he's like, he's
gonna kill your son! He's gonna kill your son!
It's fucking horrid, that bit.
Smashes
It's
the
spooky.
phone booth.
Dracula's jizz from earlier.
A jizz of mayonnaise is required.
That bit shit me up as a kid. That
Yeah.
bit.
I bet Dracula is a exceptional lover.
Yeah, of course he is,
Do you reckon he has the gush? He's got a lot of semen in him.
I imagine his pubes are well kept. He's
A widow's peak.
Like a short back and sides.
absolute fucking glistening shaft. He's such a kept man. Like, it's going to be a beautiful.
Be like
And I bet
pure white.
And I bet, like, the amount of time he's been around as well, he is slayed, and he is going to be an absolute fucking demon in the sack. Like,
He would be a slow lover, wouldn't he?
Yeah,
be
he would.
methodical.
Sensual.
Yeah.
He would enter you slowly.
yeah, he wouldn't lose eye contact. Real, like, gliding in the night, gliding. So during that montage, the cool kid had gone and get his photos developed, the ones that he was taking pictures of, obviously the sister, and he finds one in there with her obviously
I
topless.
guess that's why they got Frankenstein to do it, so it wasn't like he was
Pervy.
taking pictures of a...
Yeah.
And then they use this photo to blackmail the sister.
The drink spit's fucking great, man. He's drinking like one drink, he sees a photo of the tits, and he spits his drink out.
Yeah, so they're using this to blackmail the sister. I mean, surely
She's
should
a
just...
good 80s fit older sister.
She should just
Yeah.
report it to the authorities because she's not in the wrong.
Yes,
She was getting changed in her room. There's nothing to blackmail anyone about, really.
This is revenge porn. You would do time for that.
Let all the guys touch your
Well,
tits.
she claims she was a virgin. That's why they needed her. And she was like, I am a virgin.
Well, that's what the second drink spit is, isn't it? When they go up to Rudy and say, "Hey, Rudy, you know any virgins?" And he's like, and he spits a drink out there, doesn't he?
Yeah, so she says she's a virgin, and because of the photo, that she will help them.
He's like having trouble asking, isn't he? So he's like, "You're a virgin." He's like sort of coughing and stuff. And Rudy's like, he wants to, "Have you been dorked?"
Been dorked.
Dorked. I've never ever heard anybody refer to it as dorked.
Also, do virgins have to be females?
Maybe for that sort of ritual magic, I think.
I mean, because they could have used any of the kids, couldn't they, really?
Were you looking for some part-time work?
Read incantations
No,
from Monster Squads.
to be a pretty virgin. To take advantage
Would you
of.
dress as a fair maiden?
Yeah, so Dracula is in his house. He's about to blow up the wall to reveal the amulet more.
He wants to see more of it.
He just wants.
He could have got through that hole.
He
I reckon.
could have.
He's taken a real risk with that dynamite.
He could have flown through as a Batman, grabbed it and
He
flown
could
out.
have, but he wants to fucking blow it up. He might have blown the fucking thing up.
He then uses. He was made a
That you had.
made a big enough hole with a fucking pickaxe or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So like, he doesn't need dynamite.
He's just got too much dynamite, hasn't he?
Dynamite!
He's got fucking dynamite up the wazoo.
Has it got like
He
a
has.
200-year use-by date? And this is the second time
I
he's
think
had it.
this is fresh dynamite, I reckon. He bought.
Where
for doing
from?
this.
Same
The
place,
mechanic?
Same place he got his car.
Yeah, when he was arranging everything before he came out.
I
put in the car. And then it's dynamite.
on an electric cane.
I wonder if he's got someone who, like a family who works for him, who like passes down their responsibilities
Like
to help.
tech.
Maybe.
And he hears a creak upstairs, which sort of sets off the dynamite.
But-
I think.
But it is a creak upstairs.
Because the
but-
kids and Frankenstein walk in.
Yeah, but before they walk in, they're stood in the fucking hallway having a really loud chat.
Yeah.
And then Frankenstein walks in, he's like, so what the fuck is that?
Yeah, which sets off like the fucking Looney Tunes dynamite plunger, and then obviously blows it up. And then upstairs, the roof collapses on Frankenstein, and he gets trapped underneath all of the rubble. So the kids are like, fuck, they don't know whether or not to try
was
to
their
save
ace in the
him.
hole as well,
Yeah,
wasn't he?
yeah. So they sort of go deeper into the house. Deeper. And then they're sort of like cornered. It's like, and
He
you have
doesn't
the
do
classic
anything.
Wolfman has nerds.
But I think if you kick Dracula in the balls, you'd probably have the same. You'd be like,
I think any of those, apart from maybe the fish man.
Do you reckon he's got like a gill that releases eggs?
I don't. Have you ever seen a fish's penis?
It'd be messy,
No,
wouldn't it?
I've seen a
Gilman?
whale's penis.
Have you?
Gilman would just be dropping like eggs everywhere when he
Ah,
walks.
the
on
horrible
land,
little
like,
frog
so-
spawn just like dropping out of him.
Like, Gilman, you've done it
I
again.
wonder
But
what
yeah,
a frog's dick looks like.
Like his tongue.
The classic line, yeah, kick him in the nards, Wolfman's got no nards. That is the one I think everybody knows.
I'm assuming that nards is gonads, which is gonads.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I thought that was a distinctly British thing. Gonad was a fucking insult to people.
Yeah, it's gotta be gonad. It's
But
gotta
the
be
thing is,
gonads.
I thought.
But you call him your nads as well, don't you? But they call a dick a
nards.
dork.
I think they did that for the kids.
I've never
Yeah.
heard nards used as a description
No.
for testicles in any other film, though.
And then they're sort of like cornered, aren't they? There's like 3 corridors, and you've got like the brides, you've got Wolfman, and you've got Dracula.
All moving really slowly towards
Yeah,
them.
towards them. And they're like cornered against this statue, and they're like, shit. And the one lad is like fumbling on the statue and manages to pull the arm.
I'm not having that.
On the
It's like,
statue.
it'd be good if there was like a secret passage here. I'll
Yeah.
look for one. There is one. I
Yeah.
mean,
That
that's...
was very quick, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
they kind of reference it. They're like, oh, have you never read the Hardy Boys?
Yeah, there's all
Yeah, but I mean,
so-
it would have made more sense if that doesn't make any
Is
sense.
You see it early in the film,
Yeah,
don't
but
you?
Yeah,
when
yeah,
he
you see it
uses
in the film,
When Dracula uses it earlier in the film to get downstairs into the cellar, it opens up a door. But when he does it on this time, it opens a trap
Maybe
door.
you turn a different way, like it's a trap. I'm not disputing that Dracula would have a secret door. I'm disputing that they would, at that exact moment, be like, let's look for this fucking secret door and find one.
Yeah. And they fall down into like the little hallway, and they are in front of the amulet. It's right there, green light glistening at them. And the leader goes in there and he picks up the amulet and he's like, yeah, I've got the amulet, let's go. And then just as he says that, Dracula grabs him, and then Fat Kid, I think he's got a slice of pizza
He
in
has.
tinfoil
Yeah.
in his pocket. And like he looks at the pizza, he assumes that there's garlic on there, and he fucking whaps it into Dracula's face.
Is
and
that
it burns
what that
Dracula's
was?
face.
I thought it was like a fucking knuckle duster made of garlic or something.
That would be amazing.
Yeah,
That would
that's
be
what I
amazing.
genuinely thought. Cause I was like, what the fuck's he hitting with there? I was like, well, that must have been garlic, but there looked to be so much of it.
It was pizza. I don't reckon that would be as effective as it was.
No.
It has to be one garlicky pizza, I
I
think.
mean-
There'd have to be raw garlic on top of that pizza, I think.
A piece of garlic might hurt him, but
Pure
yeah.
garlic.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe garlic butter.
Well, fuck
would be-
me, there was loads of them in the fucking amulet room.
Yeah.
They could have had like fucking
The immortal
garlic
garlic.
swords.
Garlic nunchucks.
Yeah, fucking hell. Yeah, because the balls of garlic would be flying
garlic
off.
bolas.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. And yeah, so they escape the house, and just as they get outside, a couple of members of their crew turn up, and scary German guy turns up in his truck with the little girl as well. And then they all decide that they need to head to a church. And as they are driving away, they spot the mummy in the middle of the road. And they swerve out the way to avoid him.
You'd have just played into it,
You
though.
would have, wouldn't you? You'd just gone straight through it. It wouldn't even dented his car.
It was just blown up.
Yeah. It is literally just...
Dust.
Yeah.
Dust and tissue.
Yeah.
But still, it's better the way they did it.
Yeah.
It's a cool idea.
Just as they swerve past it, Mummy grabs hold of the car.
Yeah.
Like, even though the car's going about 80 mile an hour and the Mummy is slow as shit. So he's holding onto the back, and it's like a Jeep Wrangler thing, doesn't it? And the cool kid is like, give me some of his...
Bandages or whatever.
Bandages, yeah. And so they attach it to a fucking arrow, and he fires it off, hits a tree, and Mummy starts unwrapping as the car drives off.
It's a great idea. It's a great idea,
Yeah, it's
but
cool.
I think in reality, the first thing you're doing is you're putting an arrow into that mummy's head, isn't you? That's literally. But if that mummy was there, you're not going to think, I'm going to tie this up, fire it to this tree. And you're going to shoot one straight into
Well,
the
the other
head.
thing is you've got to have a lot of confidence that wasn't just one piece of bandage.
Yeah.
It'd be like he fired it off and it was just a bit that did his ankle or something.
And there's just going to pop out straight away or something anyway, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they are making quick their getaway, like, and Dracula ends up at the kid's house.
Dracula's pissed, man.
He's not happy.
He's fucking
He-
petty.
he doesn't
He's
even-
being petty here.
He doesn't even pull up outside. He drives through their picket fence onto their fucking lawn.
He could have phased through it.
He has the ability not to do that.
Yeah.
Or he's just going to stop
He's
short.
fuming, isn't he? Yeah. But show these fucking kids.
He just blow up the house of the mum in. I'll show them and blow the fucking treehouse up.
He goes out back and lobs a fucking stick of dynamite again. He loves his dynamite, lobs the dynamite into the kid's treehouse. Meeting adjourned.
Meeting adjourned.
Maybe he thought they were in there.
Yeah.
It would have been much better if he'd gone for their mum. Much more fitting for what Dracula would actually do.
Yeah. I mean, they're all cool monsters, but they're all very PG monsters, aren't they?
Yeah. So he goes out to the front of the house, and the dad and the other copper pull up outside. The dad gets out, and his partner just stays in the car. But Dracula lights a stick of dynamite just by looking at it. He's like,
That's a cool idea, isn't it?
yeah, throws it, rolls it underneath the police car. Other policeman doesn't get out in time and gets fucking blown up.
Gritty.
It is. And then you keep showing the burnt out car, and it's like,
Yeah.
fucking hell, that bloke must have really been fucking incinerated.
He's not even there, like, you know, but it does. It's a fucking good explosion.
But that's good practical 80s explosion, and it's not some fucking CGI shit. With that in mind, if Dracula was focusing on you, could he make you burst into flames?
Probably, he can do lots
He
of
can make your
magical
hair
shit.
burst into flames. Is
He's
that what
real
happened to you?
magical, Dracula.
Or do you have to be made of a wick?
There shouldn't be any of the fucking fight there is if that's the case.
Look at his power scale. Why is he even bothering with dynamite or a car?
Or monsters.
Like,
It's like he spent a lot
He's
of time with these
overhamming
monsters.
this.
He could have done this all himself in like 4
if he
hours.
could set people on fire by looking at them.
if you
it's
were the
game
mummy,
over.
you'd be terrified as well, wouldn't you? Because one glance turning you into fire.
Yeah.
Oh, it'd be like the fucking scarecrow.
Oh, you'd go up like bloody tinder.
You know when this whole scene happens in the film? Do you know who the next door neighbours are? Well, the house next door
I can't remember.
It's Murtaugh's house from fucking Lethal Weapon.
Oh, is it?
In the house over the road from this, yeah.
Ah, I
so it's
didn't
literally my Murtaugh could be in the window. What the fuck?
Well, they use the same set.
Like,
Same
I'm
set,
too old
yeah,
for this
yeah,
shit.
yeah. The universal backlot.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, so the dad decides to unload his revolver onto the Count.
He's lucky he didn't shoot his fucking missus through the wall.
Well, I thought, yeah. He's got his standard issue 6-shooter.
Good centre mass,
Yeah.
but totally ineffective.
Yeah, did nothing. He just sort of stood there and he's like, I'm going to kill your son or something.
I will have your son.
It's quite good that the dad just shot him.
I
though.
watched
What's the way
the
through
censored
provokes?
one.
He's like,
So he must have just gone a little bit translucent there then, for the bullets.
I'm liking the different words that are coming up from what he does. It's like, face through it, he's holographic, translucent.
But that's what he did there, wasn't it?
well, to let the bullets pass through.
Yeah.
And then his missus opens the door and she sees Dracula turning into
A bat.
And she's like, what's going on? What's going on? It's like, come on, man. I don't fucking know. Do you know what I mean?
The dad is actually running around the house trying to figure out where his son is, and he picks up like the walkie-talkie that the kids have been using to communicate with each other.
Yeah.
And he said, "Where are you? Where are you? Where are you?" And he finally gets an answer back, and they're like, "Oh, we're just heading into the centre of town now." So all of the monster squad are in the centre of town.
They're outside the church. They can't get into.
Yeah, the church is locked, so they decide that they're going to do their little spell outside the church. Still on holy ground, is it? I'd imagine. I imagine it's still holy ground. And it starts like thundering and shit, and then you see the bride start walking up the street.
No one has ever walked this slow. They're so slow.
They are menacing though, I think.
They are. I mean, as slow as they are,
sexual.
as slow as they are, it's fucking cool scene.
It is cool, man.
Yeah.
When Rudy's like,
Where you going, Rudy?
I'm in the goddamn club, aren't I?
I'm in the club, aren't I?
Yeah.
he's fucking got a fag in his mouth, and he fucking
Yeah.
goes over. But really, he's just murdered 3 women.
Yeah.
He doesn't definitely know they're vampires.
They look like vampires.
They do.
There's a
they
chance.
do.
They're moving awfully slow.
mean,
If one of them was eating a stoat, would that be confirmation?
Yes, I suppose he's seen a lot of shit, Rudy. You know, he hasn't
and they
seen
had
that much,
fangs.
Rudy, actually.
They had fangs.
Oh, he's seen Frankenstein, I suppose. He knows it's real. They did have fangs.
It's quite clear there's
murder them
monsters
pretty
about,
easily.
and if they're not monsters, they're looking the wrong way, aren't they? Really?
But
It's
the thing is, though,
yeah, they are. Exactly.
I mean, it is cool. But when like the film has ended and they're all like tidying up, these were 3 girls that were just in the film earlier that he's just killed. They're like,
That's it. Do you know what I mean?
they're going to be like, we need to get this lad in.
Yeah,
well,
but
there's going to be an investigation.
Yeah, not everyone's going to believe that, are they, when they speak to him? He's just
Yeah.
basically murdered. But this is what a sequel would be really interesting, wouldn't it? But
I don't know.
this whole...
Just nothing supernatural, just about their lives.
Just about Rudy out fucked his life up.
It's court case. Like.
Yeah. He got done up for. He went to prison for like they went to juvie.
Took the fall.
To juvie.
Yeah. This whole bit because the police are there and it's in the middle of the town. And this is fucking great.
It's cool. It is cool. Yeah.
Cop Dad is driving back into town, and like Dracula's a bat now, and he's flying away, and he's making his way into town.
Making my way downtown, walking fast, faces pass, and I'm homebound.
And Cop Dad is driving one-handed, but leaning out the car, firing his gun at a tiny bat.
Hell of a shot, isn't it?
And he fucking hit him.
He's coming in at a funny angle as well. He's going about fucking 30, so...
He seems like he's a good cop, though, doesn't he? Like,
yeah.
He needs to be like a professional fucking archer or fucking
marksman of the year or
like,
something.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
And so he hits the bat, and the bat goes flying into the building.
Goes through the window, doesn't it?
Yeah, and Cop Dad gets out, and he runs into the building, and he like stumbles up the stairs, and there's like fucking, which I think is actually pretty cool, half transformed.
This is what I was saying earlier.
Dracula and
It was a bit like Ripley in Alien Resurrection when they've got those fucking clones.
Yeah. It also looked a little bit like fucking David in American Werewolf.
Oh, when he's
not full werewolf, he's got his man body and fucking hair all over him. It was very similar. That
did look pretty cool. And I think the dad was just about to do something to basically fuck him up. But just as he was getting ready to do it, Wolfman snuck up behind him.
Wolfman always wants some fucking hand-to-hand combat for some reason.
Yeah. Oh, he's nails though, isn't he? He'd be no good with a gun.
No, I mean, I don't mean like... He doesn't want to bite or slash you. He wants to fight you.
Yeah. His biggest weapon is going to be his bite, isn't it? He doesn't do it.
He didn't even fight me
with his mouth
fisticuffs.
His
head don't move. He's like this.
He's got no neck. He's like Macy Gray. Macy Gray.
Macy Gray got no neck.
No, she got no neck. Who's the other one? Fucking Sandy Toxvig. They've got no neck, haven't they?
I don't know.
You notice these people with no neck?
No.
Sandy Toxvig. Was it Clive Anderson who's knows it anyway?
Yeah. They had no neck.
And Macy Gray. They've got no neck.
He's a lawyer, man.
And like this, isn't they? When you get sued,
like Sylvia out of Sopranos.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Wolfman's that. Like fucking
like
Tim Burton Batman.
Is that why she sings like she does?
It's coming straight from her chest. There's no neck for it to go up.
They managed to shove the
dynamite
down the fucking pants.
Wolfman's pants, right? Down his
Wolfman's pants.
They push him out the window, don't they?
Yeah, and he explodes.
I just thought that was quite a cool throwback because going back to that same conversation about how the Wolfman would dress.
Oh yeah.
And there was an argument over whether he'd wear pants or not, and it turns out to be that the pants are his undoing. He does wear them.
He didn't undo his pants.
Well, also the whole motif with the werewolf in this is the conversation that Rudy has with him when they're talking about what other ways can you kill a werewolf.
Yeah.
And they mention about like blowing him up.
Falling out of a window onto a bomb.
And that's why I think Rudy references, doesn't he, that there is only one way to kill her.
Yeah, because obviously Wolfman goes diving out the windows and explodes.
Do you think he comes together like a T-1000?
He does, doesn't he?
It's
I quite like that.
Man. Well, so we should say he's in pieces.
He's in bits.
Yeah,
he's a torso amongst other bits.
He's sort of dead to all intents and purposes.
Oh yeah.
Do you reckon his dick is just paste?
Oh yeah, if that dynamite was in there, that definitely
it's not like lying on the side, is it? It's everywhere.
Yeah, that's not coming back together in that.
But weirdly though, why does Wolfman turn back into Wolfman after being like in 20 different pieces?
It's magic, isn't it?
He's got to be killed by a
It's
silver
fucking
bullet.
magic.
I'd like to see what happened off camera with that.
It was magic, just putting them together. But this is one of the other bits in it that I think would work in a normal horror film because it's kind of like, oh, they've blown him up, that's got to be the end. And then seeing him do that, I was like, oh, I thought that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's cool. I'd like to see what happened though.
Well, it just like,
Oh,
it just
see him
slides
form
back
back
together.
together.
Well,
Yeah, but I mean,
the flash forming.
he wouldn't slide back together because most of it would have been like, you know, he wasn't like a jigsaw
His
puzzle.
hand must
He was
have crawled.
just obliterated.
Look,
wasn't
his
he?
clothes come back together, so do you know what I mean? There's
I
definitely
suppose
some magic involved.
If his clothes come back together, do you think they come back together when he transforms into a man as well? Like, so he transforms from a man into a wolf.
Yeah.
And the clothes rip.
Yeah.
So why don't they come back together there? Are they going to come
Oh,
back
I see what you
together
mean.
to come back together in a state that's ripped? So when he turns back into a man, they go completely back to normal.
Oh, it's not that magical, I don't think. right, I don't know. I think the laws of magic in this are all over the place.
They are.
Really, so we can forgive it.
It's a good explosion as well.
Yeah. He comes back into the like little town square, and Cool Kids is like fucking still fighting with Vampire Bride, and Wolfman is like started taking out police officers. They start like rushing him.
He really fucks getting that second arrow out of his quill, doesn't he? Like, you know,
Yeah,
he shoots that one bird, and you're like, oh fuck,
Yeah.
he's all right. And like you said before, they're moving slow.
Yeah. There's a lot going on in there. I mean, like, there's Wolfman running amok, like fucking taking down police officers. Cool Kids, like fucking trying to battle some undead brides. There's fucking a virgin reading an incantation with thunder and lightning. Very, very frightening. with a German guy, and like it's chaos there. The cops are beating Wolfman, and then cool dude has got his silver bullets on him, and he finds like a revolver from a dead policeman. So he loaded one of his silver bullets and he shoots Wolfman.
Bang!
Oh, why didn't he load one?
Because he was so sure that he's a badass.
Yeah, it's Rudy, man. Rudy fucking, he don't need more
So,
than one, is he?
do you have to hit a werewolf in a major organ?
I would say it was
just anywhere.
Poison the blood, I would say.
Blood. Yeah. And like instantly he was turned back to a man. There was no like slow transformation. He was like werewolf shot man.
Yeah.
And like the man was like, thank you, and like dies.
Again, same thing with American Werewolf in London.
Yeah.
From when the werewolf comes out until the end, there is every 5 or 10 seconds a police car pull up, 2 police will get out, and they'll just run into the barricade,
just like getting straight into
and just get killed.
Yeah.
No one gets any guns out. They're like, "Come here!" And
Yeah,
then
there's some
they
pretty fucking gruesome deaths in that though as well. Like, you
Well,
know,
There's not
there's
neck
no-
snapping.
yeah,
There's no biting.
nothing bloody, is there?
but no,
There's
there's
this
the one
neck-
guy just
neck
gets this
snapping or
fucking.
headlock.
You can hear his head being crunched.
Yeah,
It is
but
quite tame violence.
Tell you what,
Strong. I didn't think they were going to snap a neck. That head crunch. I was like, oh, that's going to hurt. And he's like,
He kills like 100 cops.
This whole bit's
Yeah.
class, man. This whole bit's fucking awesome.
So it's all going off, and the sister has just finished the incantation. She's like, I did it. And then they stand there and they're like, we did so well. Where's the
Fuck all is happening, isn't
vortex?
it?
Where's the portal? And the little brother asks, like, oh, you know, are you a virgin? And she's like, well, there was Steve, but he doesn't count. So scary German guy comes up with the idea of using the little sister.
Yeah.
And obviously, as this is going on, from out of nowhere, Gilman shows up. I mean, he's been in the film all of like 3 minutes, and then he appears at the end, and he like comes out of a sewer. He's got Fat Kid in front of him.
He's got to walk really slowly towards him.
Yeah, and Fat Kid's got a shotgun, and he's like backing up, and he's like gets to a shop window, and the 2 bullies from the start of the film were in this shop.
They didn't let him die.
Yeah, they won't let him in. He's like, let me in, and they won't let him in. So he cocks his gun, and he unloads into Gilman.
To be fair, I thought he was going to fly backwards with that shotgun.
Yeah, that's
and
what I
through the
think.
door.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
yeah.
good.
a bit
Yeah.
more heroic sort
Yeah.
of shot, like, you know, but turns out he fucking took it like a champ.
I mean, that Gilman then was way less effective than an actual man would have been. Because not only was he like a blatant target, he was easy to kill as a man.
He would have achieved everything he needed to with just a competent scuba diver. Instead of him, he didn't need to be a monster. He just needed someone to get the fucking thing out of the water.
Get your mechanic to put a fucking winch on the back of your fucking
If
hearse.
he'd just spent the money that he spent on the hearse and just hired a good team of blokes, they wouldn't need any of the supernatural stuff.
Because it probably led to his downfall, really, having to like focus his attention on fuck me.
These morons.
What's fucking Frankenstein
I
doing?
mean, there
now,
wouldn't
like,
be a
and all-
story without this, would there? But
No.
I mean, the fact of the matter is like, yeah, we've said before, like, Dracula didn't really need anybody. He would have been the town weirdo for a bit.
For the day.
Half
he
the
needs some
attention
contractors.
half the attention he got if he didn't have an army of weirdos with him.
He should have got in touch with the temping agency.
The
He's got,
18,
like,
he should have called the 18.
Yeah, well, mercenaries, guns for hire.
I bet that was the fucking thing. Merman was fucking Hannibal Smith.
Well, as he hit the floor after being shot and the flap on his face opens, he's got a cigar.
There you go.
What a twist.
And he always wore fucking leather gloves, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, so Gilman was shot.
He did.
He did nothing. He
was
did
just
nothing.
intimidating.
Gilman was shot in the chest with a shotgun. Nothing supernatural about that death. Mummy was killed by unwrapping it. That's terrible.
If you would have taken the mummy out of the film and just had a really capable man, if you shot a man in the same place, the very worst thing that could happen is you'd rip his trousers off. He would still be coming after you.
A naked man after
Well,
you.
he'd still have pants on. It wouldn't even be that embarrassing, would it?
Terrible.
Wolfman was
yeah.
a good fight, didn't he?
Yeah, blown up and then he had to have
What do you mean?
He was shot.
What do you mean?
He was blown up.
It was terrible.
No. As in, like, it's not a supernatural death, is it? You didn't have to do anything to, like.
I think it would be how most kids would imagine you take out a mummy and, you know, leaning over and grabbing a bit of it.
So the little girl is reading from the book to open up the portal, and Dracula walks over and he sort of grabs her.
Picks her
doesn't
up
he?
by her jaw.
It gets very sinister there, doesn't it? Because you don't think that's coming.
He does look evil then, doesn't he?
Yeah,
He does look
but when he
actually
hoists her
pretty
up, the
badass.
music changes and it's very dramatic. It's like, oh, fucking
I
hell.
think it's the first time you properly see his fangs as well.
Yeah, he's a proper, like,
Yeah,
which is pretty
the
cool.
little girl hated the contact lenses, so he wouldn't wear them around her. And then when they came to film the scene, he put them in, and they didn't tell her, so he had his eyes shut. So when they opened it, it was like this genuine
Terrifying.
scream she does. Like,
Well, she's probably fucking in therapy for the next 30 years.
Yeah.
But he's like, oh, give me the amulet, you bitch.
Give me the amulet, you bitch.
You bitch. For now.
To a child.
You think he was pissed before?
Not even like, you little bitch.
No.
You just bitch.
You bitch.
Bitch bitch.
He could have just taken it out of her hand.
Yeah, he didn't need to pick her up. It
could
would have
have
been less.
punched her in
It
the
would have
face.
been less effort to
Yeah.
not have picked her up.
He could have probably ripped her hand off with his fucking vampire strap.
Fucking
You know what I mean?
fucking smash in the face. Yeah, and then as he's grabbed her and he's got her and the mum and dad are screaming, you know, ah! Frankenstein appears as some sort of hero and grabs the Count on the neck.
He's
Or
like,
does he just
bogus.
Bogus.
He launches him onto a spiked fence.
Yes, he
doesn't
throws him onto a spike. Everything starts to fucking disappear. The cars are going through the vortex.
The police officers. Ah!
Yeah, like a car flies off and it's like that big, or it's like it's
gets
tiny.
Really, it gets really small,
It's
really
so
quick.
small. It's like
See,
if
I
they've
thought
lobbed
this-
a matchbox car into it.
I thought this vortex was only supposed to be sucking back in
Bad,
the evil.
bad things.
I imagine it's like Evil Dead 2. isn't
Yeah,
it? It's just
anything
sucking.
within, everything within sort of.
Sucked in Van Helsing at the beginning, didn't it? So it does like definitely.
Yeah, they turn around and they notice that there's no one left on the spike.
Yeah.
Dracula's got the kid, and he's like,
Yeah.
he's taking him with him.
Didn't
He stabs Dracula through the chest with the spike.
But
And
then Dracula lets go, and the kid just jumps back and isn't being sucked in.
Yeah.
Very close to the vortex.
Yeah,
and
he's
is not being
his
sucked
mate's
in.
grabbing.
but after he stabs Dracula, fucking Van Helsing pops out
He
of the
does some
vortex.
fucking mad thumbs up.
It just flies out of the vortex.
And he's like,
Yeah, and then
So he hasn't aged a bit. So for Van Helsing, has he like back in like 100 years ago been there, got sucked into that vortex and instantly
come out the other side and
come out the other
go,
side. So he's like, oh, cheers, man. He's like fucking yeah, because
No, I
he's.
bet it's like fucking Robin Williams in Jumanji, isn't it? He's probably
If it-
been there,
if-
but he doesn't know it's
If
fucking.
he's been in limbo for hundreds of years, then the thumb up doesn't really make too much sense. But if he's literally just come through, I reckon the shock of it, you might do a thumb up. Because he's like, oh no, I've gone in the vortex. Fucking hell's Dracula. Shit, that's exactly what he set us to do.
yeah, so Van Helsing takes Dracula back into
the warp.
and then a few of the others are sort of like almost sucked into the vortex. And Frankenstein is like hanging on barely to the curb of the street.
Isn't Phoebe holding his hand though? Isn't
Yeah,
she does want him to go, yeah.
Before he
She's fucking
goes.
strong.
Yeah. Well, that's the mad thing. There's cars and that flying up there, but she's behind a little bench, and that just doesn't want to get. Next
Maybe
to
she's
her.
the one because she's the one who opened up the portal. It won't take her.
Maybe because she's not evil, perhaps. Or something.
Magic.
Yeah.
And then he goes flying off, and he's like,
I got very fucking strong vibes of Shrek 2 with this. Mongo, the gingerbread man, when he's under the water. He's like, be good. He's like, hey, bye, Phoebe. Again, quite a sort of like, oh, moment.
throws scraps the toy dog to him, and he's petting the little toy dog as he's flying off. Yeah, so quite sad. Portal shuts. The town is a fucking chaos.
It's a fucking good messy set, that is, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like shit everywhere. And then the army turn up.
I'm not having this.
Because the army somehow have received that young lad's letter, have taken that young lad's letter seriously, even though it's wrote in crayon, and shown up with like tanks and fucking surface-to-air missiles.
That's mad. I mean, this is the maddest part.
Where's the monsters, kid?
All right, son. Where are they? Where are the monsters?
Who's Eugene?
Yeah, they didn't need to do that. That could have just been they'd heard reports of, like, or you heard somebody call the army, like one of the cops or something. You got to send the army in.
It could be one of those things where you think Eugene.
It would have been
written
a good
by a man called Eugene, but I mean, like Al said, it was written in crayon.
If another one of the cops was called Eugene, who'd called the army or something, and there was like a kid had thought that it was him that sent them.
Yeah,
that would have been like, oh, that's funny. But no,
Dear
there's
bad
no way
guys,
those
monsters are coming, Eugene.
The army men would just say, well, someone in the Sam Hill, tell me what's going on here.
Somebody tell me what the Sam Hill is going on around here.
Oh, he was classic, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was like 50 odd.
Yeah, and the leader of the Monster Squad is like, I will, and he hands him one of the Monster Squad cards.
The only time they were ever used, I reckon.
Yeah.
Nerdly, I thought there might have been a number on the back, so I'm pretty sure on the front it just says the Monster Squad.
It does.
But there's no phone number on the front, and there's nothing on the back, so it's just their business card just says the Monster Squad.
Yeah, we're the Monster Squad.
We're the Monster Squad.
And then it fades to black, and then we're done.
Yeah, a nice 80s rap.
Monster Squad.
Monster Squad. We're the Monster Squad.
We're the Monster Squad.
It's real poor, that song. That is sort of-
Terrible.
Dracula, now the Wolfman too. Mummy and the creature from the Black Lagoon.
You can tell they were like, yeah, we need a big tune like Ghostbusters.
They would have been
or
better
something.
off using the montage song at the end.
They would have done, yeah.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, what would they have put in its place? I mean, that could have been a lot worse. So,
Alright, so should we get to the scores? Al, so this is your pick.
So, as a Halloween film, I mean, it's strong, isn't it? You've got all the classic monsters in there, so I'm giving it an 8 out of 10 for a Halloween film. As a film, I thought it was shit. I thought it was so shit.
You thought it was shit?
Yeah, I did. I honestly did.
Did you?
Yeah. And like, I was so disappointed because I remember it being so good
When's the last time you watched it?
when I was younger.
When you were younger, yeah, I watched it
Yeah.
when you were little.
Yeah, literally like 30, like early 90s. And like I remember it being so good, and I watched it again and I was just like, I just couldn't get on board. There were so many things in it that made me like, why is he here? How the fuck are they doing that? Why is it? And like you can put a lot of it down to magic. I get that. But there's a lot of stuff in it that I was just like, I can't. And for some reason, like, there are bits of it that I still remember and are still pretty cool. I thought the monster designs were pretty cool. I thought they looked pretty cool. The mummy's pretty scary. The mummy did nothing. I thought Dracula, I thought he was scary. I thought he was the hardest out of the lot of them. Gilman did nothing. He was like in it for like 3 minutes and then came out of the sewer and got shot. The brides did not. I was so like, I was gutted. I was genuinely gutted after I watched it because I really, really wanted to fucking enjoy it. But I'm gonna give it like a 4, man.
Oh my god!
And like I know I've been trying to disguise my feelings for it all night.
You did well.
A real twist.
Yeah, maybe it's just the fact that I remember it being so good.
When we watched Enemy Mine, I hadn't seen that since I was little, and I remember watching that and thinking it was really dark and really excited about watching it. And when I watched it, it had diminished so much because I hadn't seen it and I wanted it to be so good. So I kind of get what you...
There were bits in it that I enjoyed, but the pacing of it was so weird. It felt so quick. There was like characters would appear and then they would disappear and like you'd be like, fuck me, what the fuck is going like? And then I don't know. Yeah, I was gutted because I genuinely was like really looking forward to watching it. And
it is a very pacey film. The studio did really push them to get it under 90 minutes. So
they butchered it.
So they took a lot out. But, you know, it is definitely... you know, it's where you think that's good or bad, really. So, any other thoughts on it, Al?
Bullshit. Childhood ruined.
Oh, fuck. So, 4. An extremely low score.
This is bullshit.
It's all bullshit. All of it.
Tom, what's your score?
Yeah, I loved it.
I love it.
And I'm watching it with fresh eyes, so I haven't got this childhood thing to, you know, be disappointed in. So, you know, when you see something and then you see like another version of it or an edited version you didn't realise existed, I haven't got that. I'm just judging it on what I watched, and yeah, for being the age I am, I shouldn't have enjoyed it so much probably, but it's just a good kid's adventure, and I reckon at that age, if like I'd have been 8 at the time when it came out, that would have been right on my street. Those monsters were recognisable, they were fucking awesome looking, each one of them. Dracula was just a carbon copy of what a cartoon Dracula would look like without over embellishing him, and everything else was just really well done. I agree with Lee about the Wolfman. His lack of ability to move his neck did cheapen the whole thing a little bit, but you know, his whole kick him in the nards and that, you got to forgive him for that. So yeah, I really enjoyed watching it. That's all I can go on really. I love the film. As for a Halloween film, it ticks all the right boxes, doesn't it, with the monsters and everything, but it gets and loses a point for the same thing. It's like it's not set at Halloween, but if it was, would that be too cheesy? I kind of like the fact that it was everyday life and they were just there to fuck everybody over and get this thing and get it done. So, I don't know, I still think if you were fucking in a bar and they had the fucking music on loud at Halloween and they put this on TV with no sound, I reckon it'd be quite a fitting thing to watch. So, I'm going to give it a 9 for a Halloween film. And as for a film, yeah, again, real love it. I think it's solid 8 at least.
Nice job. Yeah, I love this film as a kid, and I do still love it now, and I think there are ridiculous bits and there are bits that don't make sense, and it is paced really quick, but I do like the fact it's like, because it's just fun, it's like it's a romp. The whole thing is just like, it ain't fucking serious. For me, it ticks so many boxes because I can't review this film without being biased and looking at it through a lens of it's an 80s kids thing, and because all the bits which make it a bit shit, I think actually make it fucking better, because it's like, that's what I want to watch. So I think a lot of things that make it shit I actually find really endearing, and I do really, really like it. So I think as a Halloween film, I give it like 9.5. There are bits of it which are, I think, quite scary, especially as a kid. As a Halloween film, if they push some of that stuff a little bit more, so a few more darker bits, would have given it a 10, I think. So as a Halloween film, I think, yeah, it's got all the classic monsters in. A great film to watch for Halloween. And as a film, I know it's too high. I know I shouldn't really give it this.
You're too high.
Yeah, definitely. But I do just love it.
I love it.
I would never turn down watching this film. If someone's like, do you want to watch Monster Squad? I'd be like, fuck
yeah. I'm going to surprise you with it at a point where you can't watch it. And I'm going to
really inconvenient time.
Prove that you're a liar.
Well, Jeremy, if I was in a scenario where I was going to watch a film and somebody was like, do you want to watch Monster Squad? I probably would, unless it was like tomorrow because I saw it yesterday. So yeah, I'm going to get 8.5. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Well, for a Halloween film, it's fun, isn't it? I mean, you could have it on at a house party, couldn't you? It's quite inoffensive. Well, it's got all the classic monsters in, so I would give it an 8 as a Halloween film. As a film, I did enjoy it. It is good. There's a lot of cool stuff that could have been done a bit better. It's weird because it's a kids film, but because it's like one of those 80s kids films, it's like a dark kids film, isn't it? Yeah. But it's still very much a kid's film. The way that the fucking monsters are so slow and stupid, and there's a lot of plot holes in it, but there is a lot of cool shit in it. So I think I'm gonna give it a 7.
So there you are, the Monster Squad. So I think we would all agree for Halloween it's a fucking solid choice if you're looking for a film to watch in October. I'd also say I probably think this and Hocus Pocus are the 2 best Halloween films for kids if you want to get your kids involved in
Hocus Pocus, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, so give Monster Squad a go if you haven't seen it before. Right, so next week is going to be the 3rd week of October, and we are going to watch another horror film. So Tarby, what did you pick from the 80s?
Oh, I'm so excited. Right, yeah, so since this probably won't be coming round again for a bit, like I had a real dilemma, because the first film I immediately thought of is an 80s film, and it would fit Halloween, but it's got a weird title that I think would make everybody prejudiced about the outcome, so I'm not going to go with that.
Is it vice versa?
I'm just giving that bad boy a rest. It's just the film for all seasons.
Evergreen.
It'll be ready for Christmas again.
What was the other film?
So again, I doubt you'd have heard of it. It's called April Fool's Day.
Okay. It's got a picture of a girl with a noose on a ponytail on the cover, and she's got a knife behind her back.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. So anyway, yeah, I kind of thought better of that, so then I just started looking through 80s films, and I don't know why it didn't occur to me before. So we've done Jason, so on the flip side of that, I've been itching for a reason to watch this for fucking years. We're going to watch Freddy and Nightmare on Elm Street Dream Warriors.
That's 3, isn't it, I think?
Yeah, it is, 3. So
nice.
Get your fangs into that.
Nice.
Right, so that's going to be the next in our Halloween series. So watch it and tune in next week. Bye.
Bye.